Math 70, Part 3 exam review. Question number 63 is asking you to solve this system equation by using addition or elimination. So what you're going to do is multiply this top equation by 2, because a 2 and a negative 2 would add up to nothing. So if I multiply the top equation by 2, I get 6x plus 2y equals negative 22. Keeping the bottom the same. Those cancel. 12x equals negative 24. Divide by 12, and x is negative 2. So I already know x is negative 2, so it's not C, D, or E. Now all you have to do is replace negative 2 in for x. So I'll do the top equation, it looks a little easier. So 3 times negative 2 plus y is negative 11. This is negative 6. Add 6. And y is negative 5. So the correct answer would be A, negative 2, negative 5. If you wanted to, if you got stuck on solving this, you could plug both of these into all three of these actually, and see which one works. 64, same thing. I would multiply the top equation by negative 2. So you get negative 4x minus 6y equals 0. And 4x, keep 4x plus 6y equals 3. When you add these, you get 0 equals 3. And 0 does not equal 3, so it's a no solution. If you got 0 equals 0, it would be infinite solutions. Next one, 65. If the elimination or addition method were used on the given system, which system would be the next step in solving the process? I would multiply this top equation by 9, because I have a negative 9x here. So if I multiply this by 9, I get 9x plus 27y equals 63, keeping the bottom the same. So the two equations that I would have are 9x plus 27y equals 63. So for 65, E is the correct answer. 66, the square root of 9, what two numbers are the same that multiply to give you 9? And what two numbers are the same that multiply to give you 169? That would be 3 over 13. B. 67, okay, if you were to take 67 and, 108, if you were to break 108 down, so 2 times 54, and this is 2 times 27, and 27 is 3 times 3 times 3. So 2 times 2 times 3 times 3 times 3 multiplies to give you 108. Now, square root means you want pairs of 2 of a kind. So you end up with 2 times 3, which is 6 root 3. Well, the square root of 3 is an irrational number. It's a number, it doesn't repeat, it doesn't end. It's irrational. The other way, so this is not a rational number. The other way you could do this is if you have a calculator, you take the square root of 108, which is a decimal that doesn't repeat or doesn't end, so it is not a rational number. The square root of 74 falls between what two numbers? Well, we know what the square root of 64 is. Square root of 64 is 8. The next one, the square root of 81, is 9. And since square root of 74 falls between these two numbers, 64 and 81, we're going to say E is the correct answer. It's less than 8, or greater than 8, but less than 9. It's between 8 and 9. Square root of 28. If you were to break 28 up, you get 2 times 14 and 2 times 7. So the square root of 28 is the product of 2, 2, and 7. Square root says we want 2 of a kind, so that 2 comes out. That would be 2 root 7, which is B. 576, which is a very large number. I'm sorry, 567, and then x squared. You're gonna say what breaks, how do you break 567 up? Well, it's a product of 9, 9, and 7, and then we have 2 x's. So 9 comes out and an x comes out, and we have a square root of 7. So 9 times 9 times x times 7. That's your set of 2 of a kind. 9x comes out, and then the 7 stays. A. Okay? When you're multiplying with radicals, as long as the indexes are the same, if you break 10 up, you get 2 times 5 times x, and 20 is 2 times 2 times 5. 4 times 5 is 20 times x. So you're looking for 2 of a kind. So we have 2 2's here, we have 2 5's, and we have 2 x's. So the 2 comes out, the 5 comes out, and the x comes out. But what stays underneath the radical is a square root of 2. So 2 times 5 is 10, 10x root 2, which is B. 72. If you are adding radicals up, as long as what's underneath the radical is the same, which it is, and the index is the same, what you're going to do is add up just the coefficient. So 4 plus 6 is 10, so it'd be 10 root 6x, which is C. 73 cannot be added or subtracted yet because you have to break root 20 up. So you have 9 root 5 minus 3 root 20. Now this root 20 can be broken up into 2 times 2 times 5. 20 is a product of 2 and 10 and 2 and 5. So the 2 comes out. So this 2 is going to be multiplied with that 3. 2 times 3 is 6. So we have 9 root 5 minus 3 times 2 is 6 root 5. And now these are identical, so 9 minus 6 is 3, 3 root 5, which is C. C is the correct answer. 74, you are going to distribute. So we have 6 root 7 times root 11. So that would be 6 root 77 plus 6 times root 7 times root 7 is root 49, which is really a 7. Square root of 49 is 7. So 7 times 6 is 42. So the answer would be 6 root 77 plus 42. Looks like A is the correct answer. $75. It says that it takes Mary 14 minutes to type and spell check 10 pages. And we want to know how long it's going to take her to type and spell check 25 pages. So we're going to make a comparison. 14 minutes for 10 pages. So time over pages. So we have 14 minutes for her to do 10 pages. Set that equal to how long, find how long, so that's what our x is going to be, how long, minutes and minutes, for her to do 25 pages. So how many minutes? So all you have is a fraction, 14 over 10 equals x over 25. All you have to do is cross multiply. X times 10 is 10x, and 14 times 25 is 350. And if you divide by 10, these zeros cross out, X is 35. It's gonna take 35 minutes, which is B. 76 says 7 more, so 7 more than 4 times a number, is that number increased by 26. Well, right the way it's written exactly that way, and B is the correct answer. 77. After a 10% price reduction, so we're saving 10%, which means right away, if we're saving 10%, that means we're paying 90%. So we saved 10%, we're paying 90%, and our boat sold for $36,000. So we want to know what was the price of the boat before the reduction. So 90% of what price is $36,000. Okay, how I would solve this one, I don't like to deal with decimals, so I would multiply this side by 10 and add a 0. So if you multiply both sides by 10, you get 9x equals 360,000. And that's easy if you divide by 9. 9 goes into 36 4 times with 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros. So the correct answer would be D, 40,000. Okay, next one, 78. 2 angles are supplementary. That means that they add up to be 180. If it said complementary, they would add up to be 90. So angle A is 35 degrees less than 4 times angle B. So we don't know what angle B is. We're going to call that X. But angle A is 35 less than, when you see the word than, you switch them around. It's less than 4 times. So 4x minus 35 is equal to what B is. So we know that the sum of these two is 180 because they're supplementary. So we can set up x plus 4x minus 35 equals 180, which means 5x minus 35, 5x minus 35 is equal to 180. So we're going to add 35. So 5x equals 215. If I divided 215 by 5, so 5 goes into 215, 5 goes into 21 4 times, with 5 times 3 is 15. So 43 degrees is x, and x represented angle B. So the only answer is C, because that's the only one that has 43 for x, and that's our angle B. Now, if you wanted to verify that, you would plug 4 times 43 and subtract 35 to get 137 for your angle A. Okay, next one. One number is 4 more than a second number. Okay, so if we have we have to set a system of equations for this one. So one number, we're going to call that x, is 4 more than the second number. We have 2 numbers, one is called x and one is called y. X is the first number, and y is the second number. Okay? So it says one number is, the first number is 4 more than the second number. So we have to add 4 to the second number for it to be equal to the first number. So x is equal to y plus 4. Because the first number is 4 more than the second number, So we have to add 4 to the second number for them to be equal. And then it says 2 times the first number is 12 more than 4 times the second number. Okay? I'm sorry. 2 times the first number is 12 more than 4 times the second number. This should be a 4y. Okay, now what I would do is I would plug this x into here. So 2 times y plus 4 is equal to 12 plus 4y. So we have an equation that has just y. So 2y plus 8 is equal to 12 plus 4y. If I subtract 2y here, I get 2y is equal to, and I'm going to subtract 12, you get negative 4. So y is equal to negative 2. Okay, so it looks like B is the correct answer for that one. And you can verify if you plug negative 2 in, you get 2 for x. So it's B, 2, negative 2. 2, negative 2. $79. A store mixes 20 pounds of peanuts that sell for $5 per pound with walnuts that sell for $3 per pound. The store will price the resulting nut mixture at $3.75 per pound. If X represents the number of pounds of walnuts used, write an equation to solve to find the amount of walnuts needed. Okay, so we have 20 pounds of peanuts that are $5 a pound and walnuts. So we have 2 items. We have peanuts and we have walnuts. Okay, so a store mixes 20 pounds of peanuts that are $5 a pound and walnuts that are $3 per pound. So we're talking about the walnuts.